Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I just got a text there.
Glad you put your phone on silent.
I'll read that back later on. I have a new phone, by the way, guys. I got a new phone, and I think it's all up to date now. Noelle has been putting all my stuff onto it from my other phone because I'm a technophobe. I am an analog man living in a metaverse of confusion. And but yeah, so I got a new phone. I went back to the iPhone. I had the Samsung for the last, how long did we have Samsungs?
2 goes of Samsungs did you have?
Had we 2 goes? And
you had this one 4 years?
I had this one 4 years, yeah. Dan was telling me that you people, you boomers, fall in love with your technology. It's not the way what you have to do. You have to not be in love with it because it's always evolving. And I said, what are you saying? I can't understand you.
Oh, stop.
That's Dan Lucas, the only funny German, a very, very funny comedian. I tell you now, guys, very interesting. We're not in the John Hume War Room this morning. We are also not in the sitting room. We're in the good room.
The lounge.
The lounge. I don't like I would call it I think the good room sounds better than the lounge. The lounge. Because
the lounge?
You're lounging around the place there. That's my mother used to say that to us when we were growing up.
That's where you come to lounge. Relax.
I do like the lounge in here. I definitely do like sometimes. Well, this is a kind of a chill out room for me. I play FIFA in here. I watch my matches in here. And then when I'm gigging during when I'm on tour now, I'll be coming in here during the day because we have shutters. So I can really blacken out the room in darkness in the middle of the day. Shutters and big long curtains, pull them across, and I'll fall asleep on the couch that you are lounging on. No. Incidentally, right now.
Yeah.
So this is, you call it the lounge, I call it the good room.
Just to put it into context as well, it may be called those names and it may be called the good room and the lounge. But that might conjure up the image of a room that is decorated to a high standard. It is not that.
My accountant's just after texting there. No, taxing. My accountant's after taxing. VAT return is due, and she has due. Oh, jeez, we never put in the VAT return. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. Will we stop the podcast and do the VAT returns? We won't, because the VAT will be returned and the podcast will be done. And we're in the middle of the podcast now, so VAT can take a pause. Where am I? I've just told you where I am, guys. I just told you where I am. I'm in Killavullen, North Cork. I'm in the good room, the lounge, sitting down on my own chair, my own individual chair. I like this chair, big comfortable chair. We got the furniture when we bought the house.
With the house,
yeah. We got a deal, and I'm looking out the window. And back in the day when we were renting our house in Ballyclaw, I used to do I was into visualization in a big way because we were trying to get a mortgage, and I used to write down every night that I lived in a mansion overlooking a forest. Now, I wouldn't say it's a mansion. It's a 140-year-old 2-story former priest's home. It's certainly not a mansion, but it is a nice big house, albeit old. And I am overlooking a kind of a forest. Like, it's kind of a forest. There's mountains in the background. The sky is cumulus. There's we're in September. It's just summer is gone. There is a definite autumn buzz in the air, but I'm feeling at peace. That's how I am. How are you?
I'm great.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm actually really good today, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome this week's guest onto the podcast. She is definitely the most attractive person I've ever had on the podcast. She's a regular podcaster. We do our own patron exclusive.
Oh, I was wondering how long it would take. How many minutes are we in?
About 5 minutes, maybe. We do our own patron exclusive podcast every week as well. But she is a regular contributor on Conversations with Cornelius, and she will always be a regular contributor on Conversations with Cornelius. She is, of course, the wonderful, the enigmatic, the beautiful, the delightful, the saucy.
Oh, stop it.
Saucy could mean so many things. Like straight away, you went for
I like a
negative.
nice gravy.
Like you could be like, she's a saucy old bitch there now. Like, do you know what I mean? She's like salty with the tongue, or like she's saucy, you know, kind of sexy, or like like she likes brown sauce on her. Like, do you like brown
likes a lot
sauce?
of ketchup. No, I hate brown sauce.
Why? What do you not like about it?
I don't know. I'd say I probably need to taste it again. Maybe not hate. I hate mustard, but I mean just not like brown sauce.
I would be the same as you, right? But once upon a time, I was in a house in Dublin, and we were and back in the day, I was eating sausages at the time, Kerry sausages, as Harvey would call them, which is like regular meaty sausages. So this is at least a decade ago, right? And because I think it was before I was even going out with you, and I was at a match, and it was the day after the match, and we were all inside in someone's house, and there was a feed of sausage sandwiches made.
Yum.
White bread.
Oh.
Pots of tea, and a fucking big tray of sausage sandwiches. The mother of the person's house had made them.
Class.
And everyone was just digging in, and I put my hand in, took one out, and took a bite out of it, and there was brown sauce in it.
Ooh.
And I was like, my initial reaction was like, what the but I was starving. And then, do you know when you're hungover and starving? So I continued to eat it, and by the time I had finished, I remember saying to myself, I'm going to put brown sauce on my sausage sandwiches. I never did, like, because I mean, red sauce is lovely, and it's a long time ago, but like,
Be worth a shot.
it might be an experiment for us.
I will see if I can include it in the budget for this week's shop.
Check out the budget, see if we can get HP. I remember
HP sauce. Is HP sauce is different to brown sauce?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, it was HP sauce.
Because I remember from
new
the
phone, I can't turn off the bastarding fucking.
Because I remember from the shop days when I used to work in Mom's shop, like, no, if someone was looking for HP sauce, brown sauce would definitely not do the trick. I would think, if I remember correctly.
Okay, well, this was because I remember saying it, right? HP sauce. Or HB sauce.
HP.
HP, yeah, HP. So is that horseradish?
No, that's different again.
Yeah.
God, you're leaving yourself down in the sauces department now.
Well, you're the
definitely
saucy
not
one.
Saucy.
And we pulled it around. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, so welcome to the stage, Noel Patricia O'Sullivan.
Here I am without alcohol.
No alcohol, sans alcohol, as they might say.
Yeah, with a coffee. I think it's... remember we did a Saturday or Sunday morning.
We've done a few sober ones. Now, I wouldn't say I'm technically sober, but I'm like as sober as you're going to find me on the day.
Anytime.
Like, I'm an addict, babe. I'm fully an addict. I can't give up cannabis. I can't give it up. I don't want to give it up.
I'm not sure I want you to give it up.
I know you don't want me to give it up, but I'm just like, I'm going to have to try and live. I'm going to have to try and learn to just accept that it is just a part of me, and it's a part of me that makes me happy. And not to feel guilty about it, because I start to feel guilty about it. But anyway, we won't talk about that today. We'll talk about that some other day. But a full-on addict. Like if I actually think if I had to try and give it up, I would have to go to Narcotics Anonymous. And I'll tell you what, I would be embarrassed to death to be inside Narcotics Anonymous, going, "Sorry, there, I'm addicted to weed." And like proper lads, like we're watching a lot of stuff now where people are dying of opioids and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like people would really.
Well, I think there are people who have problems with weed too, though. Like,
yeah, but I don't know. Do I have a problem with it? I just have to have it out of necessity for myself. But it doesn't. Do you know? Like all these other people who are addicted to drugs, their behavior manifests in crime and stealing and neglect. Whereas I feel like if I have a little break, I'm a better dad. I'm a more doting husband. I do chores easier. I'm smiley. I'm more content. So you know yourself. You see me. I'll be a grumpy old bastard at the best of times, and you'll be like, "Go in there."
That's for sure.
But you'll say, "Go in, have a bake," and I'm different immediately. I feel it myself. It's not that I'm changing myself as a human. It's just a code that lifts a brain fog in me that goes, "Do you know what? Life is difficult."
But is that the DTs then from it that's causing you to be irritable? When you're not, like, which is a bit like the hen and the egg, like which came first, like pre-weed.
Well, the hen probably came first, like, and you're going to say who laid the egg, but like the hen had to lay a fucking egg, like the hen came. Well, what came was like The fish swam out of the ocean and grew legs and started walking. So it's the
I'm not
fish.
sure I'm in the mood for you singing today.
You're not really here. What were you saying?
Oh, what I was saying was, is it the DTs from weed that's
Good
causing
question.
you to be
Good question.
grumpy? But I think that's a conversation for another day, is it?
It is, and I just got to answer that question. It's not, because I gave up weed there for 8 days during the summer, and the first 3 days is where you have your DTs. And yes, that is a very difficult time. You're grumpy, you're angry, you're irritated. I got over that, and then the next 4 days were grand. Genuinely looked just like absolutely grand. And I was just like, this is just not like I know what this is. I've spent most of my life like this, but I'm like, nah, I just would, even from a creative point of view, like just even from looking at things in a more interesting, inquisitive way, my brain functions better. I can't wait till it's fucking legalized. It's legalized in Germany now.
Yeah, it is coming, I guess.
Yeah, 5 years, I reckon it'll be all up. But like Ireland is just so archaic. But anyway, that's not what this podcast is all about. We're going to move on to trending topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan.
Did you listen back to the live podcast?
I did.
Is it good enough to clip in for that part?
We're definitely going to clip it in, yeah. We did a live podcast at the Cork Podcast Festival last weekend, myself and Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, and the audience sang Trending Topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, and they did a mighty job. And if you want to listen to that podcast, it's live and up on the Patreon.
Ding ding.
Ding
I'm
ding.
just going to ding ding every time you say Patreon.
That's great, yeah. Because it's normally €5, but it's only $2.50 now, guys, for a very short period of time. That'll be closing at the end of the month, I think. I think it's the end of the month. I'll have to go back and check that. But like, if you want to get in for $2.50 now, there's loads of episodes. There's loads of episodes with myself and the Queen, but there's loads of there's a back catalogue of well over a year's episodes as well. So there's plenty there for your ocular cavities if you like the sound of my voice and some of my special guests who are special regular guests who've been on the podcast down through the years. And of course, we now have our own weekly Cornelius and the Queen podcast, Patreon only. So you could check that out as well. Anyway, trending topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan. Hashtag today, right? Hashtag deadline day.
Deadline day.
Yeah.
Is that the soccer deadline day?
Soccer deadline day.
Oh yeah, that's gas. I can't believe, what time is it now? It's 11:15. And you are only now talking about it's the first I've heard about deadline day today. That is a change for the books. I remember when I first met Connie, were you window cleaning? You were. He'd be like, nah babe, can't go window cleaning today, it's deadline day.
Yeah.
So he'd be sitting watching deadline day for the day, and I still married him, lads. I know.
It's funny. Deadline, like for me, deadline day there's a real weirdness to it, right? I always felt I was living my best life if I was in a position that I could take the day off and watch deadline day. Yeah. Right? I always felt, do you know what? I'm on my own terms here. I don't have to go into an office. Yeah. I don't have to listen to a boss. I'm deciding today. It could be because deadline day it always falls on the 1st of September. Today is the 1st of September.
Oh, okay, right.
So it could fall on any day of the week, you know? So if it was a Sunday, most people were off, but if it was a Tuesday, most people were working. But if it was a Tuesday and if I was window cleaning, for example, or doing gigs at night or whatever, I'd be like, do you know what? I'm staying at home here. I'm going to fucking watch deadline day. I used to absolutely love it. But I, as you well know, I'm a massive Everton fan, and we're after getting nearly all our signings over the line before deadline day.
Oh, right.
And also, I'm just following Everton this season. As you know, we've got rid of all our channels, all the sports channels that we've had for the last few years, and I definitely think I've been more productive. I have to say I've been more productive. Like,
really, yeah?
Well, I haven't, like, my plan was to go to the pub to watch matches.
Yes.
If there was something on. I haven't gone to the pub that much to watch matches. No, I've gone to the pub plenty, but not to watch matches. Yeah. And I'm just kind of following it online. And I don't know. Are we using the money for anything good?
I suppose it's all part of surviving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Part of surviving and thriving. So would you prefer today to be sitting watching in here now in the good sitting room / lounge, to be sitting watching the transfer window or whatever you call it, or would you prefer to be doing what you're doing today, recording some podcasts?
I can tell you honestly,
exciting work later.
There's nothing I would want to be doing more than what I'm doing right now.
Nice one.
And that is a fact. I am extremely happy in my life at the moment.
class.
I
Class. As Hunter Con would say.
it's like, you
Isn't
know,
that great though?
fuck it, babe, it is. Like, because I mean, we're like, if we were to be focusing on like the finances and all that kind of stuff, which we do from time to time, you could be putting yourself into a negative mindset. But like,
Yeah.
I'm just excited with our life, the way it's going. We've got some big news which we'll be talking about here in a minute, on the podcast. And the podcast is flying. We did the Cork Podcast Festival last week.
Yeah.
Our listeners, our ships is really growing, and like comedy's going well, and you're not working, you're at home here. Like, I mean, I say you're not working, but I'd say you've never worked as hard in your life. Do you know what I mean?
I'm definitely still working shift. I'm still working nights.
You're still definitely working nights. Like, I mean, you're sleep, like, even things like this, like our youngest, Hunter Cornelius, right? We've been sleep training Hunter Cornelius since he's fucking 4 years old. All through the pandemic, I was trying to get him to go to bed. He wouldn't go to bed. You know, like, it just came to a stage that the only way we could get him to sleep is if someone lied in with him till he fell asleep, and then we'd sneak back out, and then he'd still wake at 10, he'd still wake at 12, and he might wake at 2 as well. And like, there'd just be little, you'd just have to go into him, and you're the person who's doing it. But you nearly haven't sleep trained.
Oh no, we won't go that far, because I think we were probably having the same conversation this time last year.
And the year before.
Yeah, so we're giving it another go. I stopped. So they moved into a new room, sharing a room last year. Double bunk bed, double bed at the bottom. So that, and I was like, we're going to give it a go now, sleep train Hunter. And it didn't work. Eventually, I was just back in putting him to bed and stuff like that. So, but now that I'm off again this time, we're giving it another go. So we're on like night 4. So if anyone has sleep trained before, you'll know I'm by the door now, guys. We're at the door. So tonight I am still in the room, but I'm at the door. And like, heartbreaking stuff. Sometimes in the earlier nights, he was like, Mom, come back up. You're not cozy there, Mom. Come on up here and we get comfy, you and me together. Like, they're like sponges, and he's coming back with the chat that I would have given him for especially the last 3 months, where we've like pretty much slept in the bed together every night, and he's lovely for the cuds, like. So I'm adjusting to not having him either as well, like, you know, but and then he's like, oh Mom, but I just really miss you in the bed. I just really miss you. Can I have a cuddle? And you go for give him a cuddle and move back away from the bed again. But he did sleep way better. He's sleeping better, because when he wakes, he's just turning over and going back to sleep. He started it now, not waking, looking for me, because that's how he didn't have me in the bed going to sleep now.
And you'd be coming back into the bed to me then, and you'd be like, oh my God, he's so hard. Like you're finding it hard because he's pulling on your heartstrings.
Yeah,
you know?
big time. But only that, I'm seeing him all fricking day.
Yeah.
That I can take that and say I'm giving him the cuddles during the day. I'm giving him the love during the day.
But you didn't have that before. Before you left, you had
and
the mommy guilt, and you'd be over there, and that's.
Was I really going to do that the night before I go to work for 2 days?
And we had a ride.
See me. Oh my God, Con.
Sorry, but we did, Dud. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Like, do you know what I mean? We like that's because of the sleep training. Stop looking at me like that.
Apologise to me live on air now.
I apologise to you live on air for making love to you the other night. Okay.
Stop. Yeah. Well, that's worthy of an apology. Let's move on.
Hashtag electric picnic.
Oh, Jesus. It's far from electric picnic we are now.
I know.
I've never actually been. Did you go to electric picnic?
I went to electric picnic. I went to it once, and I have to say, it was brilliant.
Was it?
Yeah. I think I went to it just as it was kind of getting really good. Do you know that kind of way?
Right, okay, yeah.
I went, myself, the Hoover, and all our old kind of crew back in the day went up in a bloody camper van, and we had some tents, and we did the whole 2 days, I think, 2 or 3 days, and we went out to the Salty Dog, and I was just like fucking just taking lots of drugs and drinking lots of stuff, and just like it was brilliant. Like, it was absolutely just like live music. There's something about a festival, and I remember I went to the last festival I went to was it's a spin-off from the Electric Picnic. I remember I went with Conspiracy John and went with the Hoover as well.
Oh, it's not Kaleidoscope.
No, it's like, where's the Salty Dog? What's this? The fucking can't remember anyway. But there's something about a festival when you go there, and if you're there for the beginning right to the end, you get lost. You become this kind of primordial kind of person. Like, you know, you're like putting braids in your hair. You're wearing bands. You're dancing. like barefoot. You're just they're like you forget about. It's almost like a fucking time machine back into like Neanderthal man kind of vibes. Like, you know, they're awesome. They're awesome,
Yeah.
and I definitely want to go to festivals with the kids, like kid-friendly festivals.
Yeah.
Electric Picnic now, it's sold out with ages. From a comedy point of view, I've never done it. Anyone who has done it, I've talked to a lot of people who've done it. They all say that it's shite because sure, it's a music festival. Any big music festival I've done a few like Independence and stuff like that. The comedy is always really hard at it.
Sure, like you have to pay attention to comedy.
Yeah.
Like you have to watch it and look at it. Whereas
it's more for the comedians that like, oh, look at me, I'm doing Electric Picnic. Prestigious is the word, yeah.
To say you've done that,
yeah.
But like, and it obviously has a big audience, but like the sound it's tense. It's like outsidey vibe that is not going to be conducive to comedy.
It's
really.
not.
Like,
it's not conducive. Like no. But the good thing about doing it right is okay. If you do Electric Picnic right, you've got the VIP, you're backstage, you're fucking
probably have tickets for the whole week.
That's usually what it is. You just they usually like because tickets are so hard to get. You normally get paid with like 2 tickets, one for you and one for your partner. But you've got all the VIP backstage and you've got the access to the good toilets.
That's
and I can tell you, Noel, you will pay money to get access to good toilets. The toilets are a shit show. Pardon the pun.
Literally.
Hashtag.
Yeah, I went to Oxygen was the only one I went to.
Oh, tell us.
I'm actually just trying to.
How old were you?
I'm trying to remember. I'm like, was it? I definitely went to Oxygen, but I'm trying to get the memories to make sure to piece them with Oxygen, or was it Slane, or was it, you know? But no, I think I kind of, I like that now. There was a camper van. I was in a tent. There was one of the lads had a camper van, so we were parked with them kind of vibe. I
just found out how to put my phone on silent.
Great job, well done, Con. But yeah, it was great. I do like the vibe. I do like it. And now that we're campers, we might get more into it, Con.
Yeah, well.
But then you wouldn't bring a good tent to.
Oh, you would
like that.
Well, you'd bring a decent. You'd want to have a good tent. You really would, like.
Yeah, but don't they get like drunk people could fall on them or anything?
I'm sure you could get that anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but I suppose for like there is a family friendly one.
You get into a family friendly area, like.
Well, yeah, but there's also a fully family friendly concert or like festival. I think it's on up like Carlow direction.
Sounds boring.
No,
I want to go to the hardcore. I want to go out raving in the forest with Harvey when he's 10. Obviously, I won't be doing any drugs. Obviously, but like I would. I tell you now. Like, you imagine being to a festival when Harvey's 12, Hunter's 10, barefoot, like the 4 of us, trundling along, just like bouncing around to music vibes. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Maybe. Yeah, okay, let's
we'll
move
think
on.
About it. Hashtag 1st of September. That's what's trending today because give a guess what? Today is the 1st of September. It's Friday the 1st of September. You'll be listening to this, guys, on Monday, which will be the 3rd or 4th of September. I'm not really sure if today's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of September. But it's not that long away. It's not that long, you know. It's only 4 days, right? So don't switch off.
Let's just go September. So into September. How are we feeling heading into September? I am excited.
Yeah, me too.
Are you?
I am. I'm so happy to... First of all, the summer was terrible weather-wise, but it was actually brilliant.
It was great. It was chaotic, though.
Yeah, very chaotic.
And but it was great.
Very busy. I was unbelievably busy. You left your job. You've been unbelievably busy. The boys haven't stopped. You've been mother of the year, dragging them here, dragging them there, doing all the stuff that I felt that you always felt you were missing out on, I suppose.
Well, we didn't do a huge pile of activities or anything like that.
Pretty much the playground, Noel.
Pretty much the playground, Mallow Playground. And I'm really lucky in a sense that both of the boys, even up to the last day, they weren't sick of Mallow Playground.
It's a great playground, though.
But they're so interested in making new friends all the time. That's what they want to do, is meet people and have friends, as much as the actual playground itself. So they got that all the time there, both of them off meeting different people and happy out. And Harvey was starting to meet some, actually, at the very end, he'd started to meet the same people. Same friends.
They did that. They had a couple of overnight stays in Cork with their grandmother, their nana and daddy John, and they had a week down in Kerry. They had with you. Was that a week or 2 weeks? You were
A
there
week.
You were a week, and they had they were in a camp down there, and
Yeah.
then we went camping ourselves, and they were busy. Like it was great. Like
Yeah, I know it was great. Yeah,
But-
but it's good to get into September now.
but it's good to
and
get into
I'm
September now.
ready to, like, the house is
Inside and outside needs attention, but
Big
sure, look,
time.
listen, we just didn't have time, and we don't have the money now to fucking, to get people to, like, like even the gardener and stuff like that. I was getting them in, regular enough. Now I'm doing a lot of the stuff, even though, but it's not. It's not to the same standard. Like,
I know.
your
big
aunt
time.
called there earlier on, and we were walking her out to the gate, and I was like, "Oh my god, the fucking place is like a bomb hit it. The whole place needs to be weeded." But I don't have the fucking time.
I know. Yeah.
I don't have the fucking, just don't have the time or the energy. If I have the time, it's like, okay, I just want to play with my kids now. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, yeah. But I think, like you said, we don't have the money to get somebody to do it. But there's a lot of stuff in this house that are our intentions that will sort eventually.
Yeah.
Like that, I have stuff bought. Like I've got paint for that gate with 2 years that hasn't even been opened. Like to paint the gate and different stuff.
I'll help you with that.
You'll help, will you? You will, yeah.
I'll sand the gate.
But yeah, so
It's exciting.
yeah.
Exciting. I'm excited. I'm also enthused. I also think as well, the lads going back to school, it's been it's great. Like, they're back now a couple of days. Even the fact that we're able to sit down here, have a coffee and chat, do our Patreon podcast during the day instead of at night time when they're or a regular podcast. Just having the time to do it. Fantastic. Anyway, that concludes Trending Topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, with this week's special guest, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, ni Maracu. So we're just going to talk, like, we've got a few things to talk about, right? So we're just talking about back to school with the kids there now. Like, they're gone back to school now, and they're only gone back a couple of days. Harv's gone into first class. Hunter's gone into the highest form of low babies, or what is it?
Oh,
National
Jesus
school, or
Christ.
what
The
is it?
preschool.
Preschool.
He's in second year preschool.
Second year
It's not that
preschool.
complicated.
Well, I don't know. I never went to the play school. We used to call it play school, but they're gone now, and it is great. And you've been kind of making lunches and taking them over and collecting them.
Already can't find a school jumper.
He's
This morning
already
I
lost
was
the
like
school
day
jumper.
3, but but the worst of it is I'm 95% sure it came home in his bag yesterday, and I can't find it in the house.
So
This
that's
morning.
more of a reflection on you, really,
Yeah.
as a poor mother.
Yeah, I prefer poor teaching that it was left in school,
Yeah.
or poor Harvey. But no, I think it's poor mothering.
When you were working for the man, okay, were you ever envious of just being able to, just like because, for example, now this morning, you've done all the heavy lifting this morning. You got up, got the kids up, got them dressed, got them their breakfast, got them over to school, came back here, and you did that yesterday. You did that the day before that yesterday. Do you love that? Will you grow tired of that? Because I know obviously will be sharing I will be sharing, as I have been and doing a lot of that heavy lifting over the last few years. But, like, is it something that you were kind of, because it is still tedious. It's still tedious work, right? But is it something that you like to do?
I like it. Yeah, I definitely like it so far. Like, I have never once. Now it's been 3 months. I have never once said I want to go back to work. I wish I was back at work. I wish I was working. I know it's only 3 months, but I think 3 months is long enough that if you really didn't like it, or it's a long enough that you know.
After 3 weeks, like.
And
do you know what? You had the kids as well. During summer, it's flat out as well.
So they were in school for 1 month of it, and then we had 2 months of them off. Like, it's really busy, and we're still really tied. I suppose, like, I'm getting into the Cocoa Club more, so I'm going to be tied more now at the weekends as well. Harvey's got activity, so, like, it's still busy and everything, and but ultimately, no, I do love it, which is very strange because, like you said, was I envious when I was working? And, like, I wasn't envious or jealous. I don't like to reflect on that part anyway. Like, so envious is the one where you can want something that somebody else has without begrudging them. Jealous is just, oh, look at them with that. I think that's my impression.
Yeah.
So I wasn't overly envious because I never really kind of let myself be.
Yeah.
Like I said years ago, and I'm probably repeating myself, but anyway, I said years ago, if I met somebody and it required me to be a stay-at-home mother, that they needed support. The husband, like, you know, a
You
farmer
said
or whatever.
farmers,
Yeah.
what it was because
Yeah.
you shifted some fella in Carlo and you were going to fucking move in with him. Just may as
No,
well
I
tell the
wasn't. It
tell
was
the right story. What's his
no.
name? Why don't you fucking go
It
after him now?
just it sparked a conversation with one of my cousins, and I was like, I would happily give up work to be a stay-at-home mom
Yeah.
and do my part in the family that way. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, I have no problem with it. I if I'm in whatever role I'm in, I want to succeed and be successful at that role.
Yeah.
But I would happily be a stay-at-home mother as well and to play that role.
I don't
But
even
I don't
know,
think
do I like the title stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home mom? Like, I honestly think our situation here now, right, is obviously you've left your job, okay? But like you said yourself, like you're helping out, like even yesterday now, right? Like, I mean, you were such a help to me yesterday in ways that would take me, like you did stuff for me yesterday that would take me days to do.
Yeah,
and you
I
did
know,
it in
yeah,
an
yeah.
hour or 2 hours. And like, I just think we're just on the same team now, like.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
that
think
kind of way?
I suppose our circumstances are a bit different because it's not like you're going out to a 9 to 5 job,
Yeah,
you know, and coming home and work is finished then.
yeah,
Do you know, it's different. We're constantly trying to build your career and build the Cocoa Club.
yeah.
So they're
Mini
they're-
businesses, mini
yeah,
little
they're two
businesses.
businesses. So I think that does make it a bit different.
But it's like if you were, I don't know. I think it does and it doesn't. I don't think it's any different to if you had been with that farmer and if you were going out to the cows.
I don't think it's any different to that. I think it's different to somebody whose husband is a 9 to 5.
9 to 5, yeah.
Yeah, or
fair.
a Monday to Friday, or a big, large pharmaceutical company, or
Yeah.
whatever, where you can't support them other than having dinner ready.
Yes.
Which is a support. I see making your sandwiches for going to a gig. I see that as part of the family role, keeping the house afloat. It's not,
And some
my
people
loving
would say,
hubby.
do you know what? First of all, right, you make unbelievable sandwiches. I think we should just do a podcast called Sandwich, right, where I'm just taste testing your sandwiches. We might do it on the Patreon, which, just in case you don't know, guys,
Jesus,
right,
man.
is it's half price at the moment. It's normally $5, but now it's $2.50, less than the price of a cup of coffee, Noel. And they get all the older stuff as well, along with the updated new stuff from you and me. But anyway, sandwiches, right? I was a little bit uneasy, I have to say, to start with the sandwiches. When you were making me sandwiches, I was like, Jesus, could I not make those sandwiches myself? Do you know what I mean? Like, but I know then that I wouldn't, because I wouldn't prioritize it, and I've left your sandwiches you've made. Like, I'd say I've taken them about 50% of the time because I keep forgetting them.
You take him about 80.
80, but I forgot them there now in Dublin during the week, and I forgot them again then the other day. But anyway, that's just recently. But I do love it, and you know, I feel the love from it, and I think it's like some people go, Jesus, you're at home making sandwiches, can't he make his own sandwiches himself? I really love that. And I feel it's a real caring thing. Like,
It's funny you should say that, because it's only partially from a caring point of view that I do it.
why am I not fucking surprised? Could you not just go, yeah, I actually love you, babe, and do you know what? Here's a sandwich I made for you.
But I
That
make it
illustrates
with
my
love, right? I do make it with love, but there's an economical point.
Correct. And I'm down with that as well.
That's why they're made.
Yeah.
And there's a health point.
Well, there we go.
And then there's also the love part.
Well, we're going to move on because this podcast has a time limit, right? But like, there's a lovely little segue there. There's a health part that brings us on to what are our health plans? How are we changing our health plans? And I'd like to start that conversation by saying you started us doing juices in the morning now. Now, we didn't have one this morning, so that's fine. But we've had juices for the last couple of days, and we're all getting into them. Loving it. And I'll let you talk about the nuts and bolts of it now as well.
Considering you don't make them, is it?
Well, you've made some unfucking believe. Like, you made a steak and kidney vegan pie.
A fake, what did I call it? A fake and kidney.
A fake and kidney pie the other day, and we had some potatoes that I plucked out of the ground myself, just like 10 minutes before you or 20 minutes before you had the dinner on the table.
Do you want to? We'll discuss the full disclosure of the spuds
now,
in a minute.
what I'm going to say is I'm going to hand it over to you now,
Okay.
because that's my experience of our health plans. Is I'm noticing it, the healthy sandwiches, the juices, and the dinners that you're making. These are not going unnoticed to me. They're fucking. And again, I just want to say thank you, right? I sincerely like it. I sincerely love that you're doing it, you don't have to. I'll work away myself, but you're doing like you like. Do you know, it's the feminism movement. I feel sometimes, am I not a feminist because you're making dinners? Do you know what I mean? do you know what I mean? Like, it's like because I really respect everything that you're doing, and I love it, but it's very traditional.
Darling, I'm not sure anyone who listens to our podcast or knows us would think that, like, I don't rule the roost in this
Yeah, but
house.
you do rule the roost.
Exactly.
But I'm also saying that they're like, do you know, like.
Well, I wouldn't be.
It is a
making
traditional. It's a traditional thing, and
Yes.
I didn't think I was as traditionalist. I didn't think I was as traditional as I am. But I love going away with getting the sandwiches. I love when you're calling me in and the dinner's ready. And I love that we're all sitting
Pity
up.
you wouldn't come in when I called you the first time.
Well, I'm often in the middle of work. But, you know, even we're sitting down as a family the last while, you, me, the two boys, and we're eating and we're talking about shit. And I think that's healthy in a way that is not just like the food itself is healthy, but the whole package is so wholesome and nourishing to the soul as well as the body. And I just want to say thank you for that. Talk about the food, please. Talk about the food. And we're not even for fuck's sake, Noel. We're not. We're 35 minutes. We're supposed to be doing a half an hour. Go on.
So that's okay. We're okay. I'm only conscious of time-wise for collecting Hunter, but anyway. So food-wise, yeah. So I suppose we're doing more meal plans, and what it is we're meal planning and actually going ahead with the meal plans. That I think we might have mentioned that before, but that's fine. And it's a combination of, I suppose, hard and easy meals, but always just using what I have a bit as well. So we had that was a lovely. I'd never cooked that before. It's a happy pear steak and kidney pie. It was basically mushrooms and onion and garlic and kidney beans in a pastry. I'd never done a pie before, so I'd never done a pastry. That whole thing where you have to dry out the pastry. You had to use lentils instead of those ball things. But like we made something out of it. But I think to your point about the sandwiches, I make them for lots of reasons. But I do know that you appreciate them, and that's a big part of it too. I wouldn't if. And
you'll ask me if I don't say to you, if I don't say, geez, they were lovely sandwiches last night. You'll go, were your sandwiches nice?
Oh, I'm not going to say that I don't still. We both know that we love praise.
And I at the start I was like, I'm just gonna like they're lovely, like, but then there was one day then that you made sandwiches and the bread was stale, and I knew I fucking know you're like he won't notice there now, he'll just eat that, and like, don't be giving me stale bread, woman. Okay, I'm the man of the house.
He mightn't get any sandwiches now for a comment like that tonight. Oh, what? I'd only stale bread left. Sorry.
And that brings us on nicely to the next part, which is budgeting. How are we getting on with our budgeting?
Well, we're in the thick of it now. We're right into the one income household. And it's definitely a change. It's definitely a change in mindset for me. But it's grand so far, really. Like trying to plan and like just looking for the deals and not the instant online buying from who's going to deliver it tomorrow style. Like sorry, go on. Even like Harvey didn't get new shoes didn't get new trainers going back to school. His trainers are absolutely perfect. More so because I didn't particularly like them, so he's wearing his smaller ones for the summer pretty much, and these ones they still look brand new. Would I have bought him a new pair? 100%.
100% you would have bought him. And you might have got him another spare jumper and a spare. You'd be like, do you know what I mean? I walked into the kitchen the other day. I was looking at my runners. I was like, babe, I need new runners. These runners are grand now. These runners are fine. Don't buy me a pair of runners until you see a fucking right good deal on them. Like, I could get 6 months out of these, but I'm just saying to you, keep an eye out. And then if you see one for €20,
you're not going to get a decent pair of trainers for 25 quid. That's the limit. He's saying.
If it's a big sale, right? And like, I'm thinking like a £10 a foot. If I could get,
you are out of touch with the cost of things, which is a slight problem as we go into this new journey. But I told him how much I need per month to buy clothes. And all that. So, but you coming at me with a figure of a pair of shoes?
€20, a £10 a foot, a £10 for the left foot, a £10 for the right foot.
And I can get you them. I'll go into Dunn's there now and buy you a pair of trainers.
Cut us to a Rob Air.
Cut us to Rob Air.
Okay.
I can do that. But would you wear a pair of Dunn's trainers?
No, I won't. I want a fucking nice, stylish pair of runners similar to these, and I want
Adidas.
Adidas, and
they
I
were
want
75 quid. That's
I
what
want
he
them
wants.
for 20,
He
and
wants them
just
for 20
do it.
now.
Just do it. Okay, you've nothing else to be doing. What else are you doing around the place?
I'll go and fucking make him. Be a shoemaker in the evenings.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. If I sell out my show, right, which is the big news, right?
Ooh, are we getting onto it?
That's it now. We're getting to the end of the podcast. I'm doing, it's launched today, guys. The Everyman Theatre in Cork City. I am doing my very
Trumpet.
first. Dun, 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 dun. I'm doing my first solo show. It's called A Bird in the Hand on January 27th. And tickets are on sale now, and you can get tickets on my website, which is corneliuspatrickosullivan.com, or you can just go to the Everyman website and get them there. And I'm so absolutely delighted beyond belief to be doing this show, but it's a huge venue, and I'm kind of nervous. I'm apprehensive, but like excited mostly excited, because we know this has been in the works, yourself and myself. This has been booked since the start of the year. But for whatever reasons, I couldn't launch it until now, and we've done a lot of work, as I alluded to at the start of during this podcast. You were helping me out behind the scenes, just getting graphics and stuff like that, graphic design, and dealing with promoters and dealing with the Everyman themselves, like the nuts and bolts. Like, I mean, I suppose I'm more artistic in nature. I do run the Cocoa Club and stuff like that, and I have a bit of a background in business, but like, you know.
There's a lot of technical side to even the photos now and all of that we were trying to get fixed for the Everyman website. Like, there's all different dimension photos and Photoshop required, and posters and like charts, rollout banners, and all of this stuff that neither of us have a clue about. But at least I'll eventually grasp. You won't grasp it.
I know my brain doesn't work that way, but like it's all done now, and it's all ready, and the show is now for sale. And it's like, it's a big deal for me. Like, this is a big deal for me.
Congratulations, my darling.
Thank you.
I'm extremely proud of you.
Thank you, darling.
And I'm looking forward to it selling out. So everybody on this podcast, if you've listened to this podcast through lockdown and even since, I am warning you. We are sitting here on our holes doing this podcast.
Looking for €20 runners.
Tenner
each, babe. A tenner each. Tenner per foot, like, you know.
Go away on to Connie's website or go straight to the Everyman and book tickets.
My website, if you're looking for my website, it's www.corneliuspatrickosullivan.com, but it's on my Instagram as well. There's a little link to it. But like, so look, the show is called A Bird in the Hand, right? And it's a stand-up comedy show, obviously, right? And it deals with topics like fatherhood, marriage, autism, in-laws, outlaws, cannabis, and just kind of midlife, and it's a lot of I put a lot of heart and soul into it. I do think it's very funny. I have to say that.
Oh, modest as well.
Yeah, well, I work really hard in it, and I try to make it as funny as I possibly can, but also emotive as well, you know. And I'm so delighted and proud to have it on, you know. And it's been a long journey, really, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting part. It's been a long journey. Like, when did it start? Like, you've come a long way now from where you were to where you are now.
Yeah, I have really, when you look back on it, like, I suppose, like, I'm
do you know what, Con? I actually think this could take up another, you said we're meant to do, we have another Patreon podcast to do as well, time-wise. So do you know what? Let's bring that over to the Patreon. I'll interview you for once.
I love it. I love it.
We'll give it a go, will we?
That's what we'll do. And we'll do that straight away. So guys, if you want to hear the story of how I got from A to B, how I came from a mental hospital in Cork City to just announcing my show with no tickets sold yet.
He got a little excited when he thought two tickets were sold, but it was a pillar.
Yeah. Tune into the Patreon and for the next one, and it's only $2.50, guys, the price of a cup of coffee. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Thank you to my beautiful guest, my lovely darling wife, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan Ní Muraku, and staying by the wall, guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Good night. God bless.